In this video, I will show you how providing self into a closure where you don't keep a strong reference to an entity can still result in memory leak. I have a very simple app here with two views, main and detail views. So from the main, you can go to detail and close it simply. And whenever the detail view appears, we want to run some code. I already did some configuration here. So whenever the detail view's text appears, I call view did appear on view model. So what we want to do is whenever the view appears, we want to process some data through an entity. So let's do that. So I have a data processor that I can call. So I'm going to say data processor dot process data can be test, and on completion, I want to run some code. So now we might be thinking, we do not keep a strong reference to data processor from the detail module view model, so it should be fine to just provide self here because this will not result in a retain cycle. Which is true, there won't be a retain cycle. So let's do that. Let's just write self that did complete processing for feature implementation. Okay, so now I'll run the app and I will open the detail a couple of times and then close it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now let's take a look at our memory debugger and let's search for detail. All right, so we have a problem here. As you can see, our detail module view models were not deallocated even though we closed the view. But why though? Because we did not keep a strong reference to that entity, so using self should have been fine. But although we don't have a retain cycle, there may still be some problems that may result in this issue. So as you can see, if you click here, you will see on the right side, a static data processor.q keeps a conservative reference. So that's why our detail module view models are not deallocated, which is not great because this may result in some bugs. For example, imagine our detail module view model observes some notifications or subscribes to some publishers, and whenever some new data comes in, it runs some code. Maybe it will make some backend requests unnecessarily, which will result in some bugs, or it tries to update a single data source. Maybe all these view models will try to update it at the same time, which may also result in some data race conditions as well. So this is not great at all. But why is it happening? So let's check out the data processor. So as you can see, data processor is a simple enum with a static function and a static private variable q. So whenever the process method is called, it appends the oncoming request to the queue to process later on. Of course, for the sake of this example, I'm not processing, so I'm just keeping these closures alive in this array, which results in these closures, whatever that was captured in these closures, strongly not to be deallocated. But imagine like you're working with an API that was developed by a third-party framework provider, or it was developed by another team that you're not so sure about implementation details. So you don't know if some certain problems can arise, like maybe this is an actual implementation, but the queue is too long and it takes a while to process an existing request before your request can start and your own completion can be triggered. Or maybe there's a bug in this entity that the queue is never processed, so everything that is captured strongly will remain in memory. So you don't know that and you don't want to risk that. Then this will result in the memory leak, right? Even though you don't keep a strong reference to data processor. So this is the case where you need to think twice when you're passing self into a closure. Just because you don't keep a strong reference to the entity doesn't mean it's always safe, because those closures may be retained, as we do in this data processor, into this array. And as you may already guess, in order to fix that, even though we do not keep a strong reference to this guy here, we can just say weak self, and then we can also unwrap this self here. And since we are unwrapping it, we can delete the self even. And now let's run the app again. And let's just do the same steps we just did. Open the detail module for a few times. And then check the memory debugger. As you can see, there is nothing related to detail in the memory anymore. We don't have the memory leak problem anymore because we are providing weak self in the closure. And even though this closure is retained, since the self is not there anymore, it won't be able to run any code, and the detail module view model will be properly deallocated. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. I just wanted to quickly show you that that you need to think twice before you're passing self into a closure, or if you don't want to risk it, even though you don't keep a strong reference to that entity, you can use weak self. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Take care.